This is Creative Manufacturing Laminator, instructional video and information. We're going to start with this roller shaft on the back. This is what I would call the wire unwind stand. It has a braking system right here. Tightening it down will apply more brake to the roll, so it doesn't want to freewheel. You can loosen it up. The spring will start to get looser. Obviously it'll spin easier. When you need to change the roll, you loosen it up enough that it'll slide off the back. That flips up and the shaft will come off of there. We have two cones on the side of it, one on each side. One has a dowel in it. That'll line up with one of the holes on the plastic core of the wire so that it doesn't slip on it. There's a hand crank on it. This will help you align the wire with the media, just in case the wire or the media telescopes in or out a little bit. You can just crank that in or out while the machine's running to keep it where you need it. Next you'll see that roller right there. That is just a roller that the wire rides on, and when the machine is in the non-running mode, it'll be up in the air to keep the wire out of the glue tank. When you hit start, that roller will come down and let the wire come in contact with the glue shaft. The glue shaft is underneath that yellow cover right there. That's cover we put on to help heat it up, and it pulls right off there when it's time to run. With the cover off, you see the glue roller, the glue in the back there. This is what we call the doctor's roller. That's what scrapes the glue off of the brass roller. There's adjustments right here. You loosen these 4 bolts up and screw this in, which will move this roller closer to the shaft if you want less glue. If you want more glue, you loosen it up and just pry it in between the bearing, and that'll move it backwards, and that'll apply more glue to the roller. I usually just check the amount of glue on the roller by tapping it, and you'll get a feel for how much glue you want after you run for a while, and the amount you need. Too much glue, you'll start to see fibers on the wire. They don't show up on camera, but glue will start to hang from the wire. You never want glue hanging on the wire or on top of the wire. That's when you start to get the glue sticking to the shafts at the end of the machine. So you just want enough glue to get good lamination. Higher quality glue better. Lower quality glue, you'll have to put more glue on, and that'll cause you problems in the long run. Underneath these yellow covers are the heater strips with the glue tank. It's a steel glue tank with 12 heater strips bolted to it, 10 on the bottom and 2 long ones on each side. They're run in line, 220 volt. If one goes bad, then they'll stop working at that point out. So just make sure that they're working and your glue doesn't look like it's not heating up in one spot. Next we got the media unwind shaft. That's where your regular media is going to go with no wire on it. Now I'm showing media with wire on there. That's all I have right now. But normally that will have no wire on it. It'll come up through here, and the side you want laminated to the wire will be up. So you'll laminate to the wire here. They meet right here. The wire will have glue on it. They meet, come over the stainless steel table. It's arced to kind of give it a pressure point for the two to meet. Then goes through what I call pinch rollers or feed rollers. These are the powered rollers that pull everything together and the two together, and they pinch together. They kind of finish it off. You'll have your glue and your wire stuck together, but then they'll really smush it together so it doesn't want to pull up. So you see that's some good lamination there. You want good points of lamination on it with just enough glue. This will be guarded. It's unguarded right now just for video purposes. this side of the machine, you'll see the guard. That's the guard with a motor running that one, a DC, 90 volt DC motor. There's also a 90 volt DC motor on the back that runs the glue roller and the other shaft there. After that, we go to what we call the rewinder. The rewinder is what we pull the material through, and this will wind the roll back up. It's a 90 volt DC motor, also ran through a gearbox that we use a torque drive on for our motor to control the torque. I'll show you that in a minute. We have this dowel pin on the inside collar. We use 3-inch PVC pipe with a slot cut in it that wraps around that pin there. That's what gives us our direct drive, so it can't slip. We then put another core on the outside of it, and this just lines it up. We're going to supply maybe six of the PVC pipe with a slot cut in it. You wind them up, put them on your pleater, then you can reuse them after you pleat the material. So, and we're gonna show you now what we do. All we do is pull the material through. This is the control panel. We got the heater control here, on off for heaters, e-stop, rewind stop, rewind start. This is the speed pod for the speed of the torque control of the rewinder. The higher the knob, the more torque you're going to get. You can control it up as much as you want. You can have it be maxed out all the time if you want, as long as it's not ripping your material or stretching your wire. With fiberglass, you have to be a little bit more easy going with it and kind of crank it up as it gets bigger. But with a good solid material, you don't have to. This is the roller stop and start and the speed. The roller is also what we call the agitator. Right now you can see the rollers are moving, but the machine's not going anywhere. The air cylinders hold that top shaft up until you hit the start button. They also hold the wire up back there until we hit the start button. And when we hit the rewind start button, that's when the shafts go down and the machine starts to move. It'll feed through, rewinder will turn on. So I'll hit this, that shaft comes down, material starts moving through, and it starts to rewind. Okay. We're going to stop it now for a second. That shaft will come up. And we're going to show you how we get the material started. We just take the end, put a small piece of tape on it. And then we make a couple of winds on it by hand. This will just give you a point to torque with. And then we just go over here, turn the knob down to 0, hit start, then slowly turn the knob up. As you come up, it'll start to rewind it until you get to the point that it's tight. And then the whole machine will start to move. Now if you have this knob up too high, and one thing I want to show you is starting and stopping of this roller. Right now it's in the stop position on the rewinder buttons. You hit start on the rewinder, shaft comes down. Stop, it goes up. You always want it to go up evenly. These knobs right here control how it goes up and down. So I'm just going to adjust this bottom one out some, and you'll see the difference in how it goes up and or down. See how it went down unevenly? You don't want that. That's going to eventually break your shafts of your air cylinders. So you want them to come up together, and these control the air flow out of the cylinder. So now when I hit start, comes down nice and evenly, hits at the same time. You want to make sure it's doing that there, and the shaft on the end that goes up and down, that they go down, up and down even. That's key to making sure the shafts last a long time. Now earlier I stated that you could run this knob all the way up, but I misspoke with that. You need to only run it as much as you need to make sure that there's not a loop in it. So you got a little bit of a loop there, tighten it up, it gets tight. If you run that too hard, it's going to pull the material right through these rollers, and those rollers aren't going to be doing anything. So as you can see right now, we got really good lamination. It's not pulling up, it's staying down on there, and we're rewinding pretty tight right there. So as the roll gets bigger, you'll have to give it more torque as it gets higher up in. So that's a few tricks to running it. You want to look, you can look right there at the footprint that the wire is leaving on the roller. Now that'll give you an idea of how hard it's hitting. The more glue you put on it, you'll be able to tell. Rest of it looks pretty good. It comes there, contacts. You can adjust the wire by using this knob again to get it left and right so it runs down the center of your material. On the side of here, that's a valve. That's the valve that controls the air cylinders, start, stop. If the air cylinders ever aren't working right, that air valve could be a problem. Inside the cabinet, just got the major power. It's 220 single phase in. In our instruction manual, it may have said that it needed a neutral line. This machine does not need a neutral line, just 220 single phase in. Got 2 motor drives, the heater contact there. Pretty simple inside the cabinet. A couple of replaceable parts is all. Air regulator. You're going to air in on this side. We're running it at about 80 pounds right now. That could probably be moved down a little bit, but it doesn't consume air. It only uses it to lift those up and down. So there's not air consumption on it, just air pressure going to it. Right now we're running a Tailored Chemical Products glue. There's the number. This was just a customer's glue that we built a laminator for. It seems to work pretty good, but there are many other kinds of glue you could use. This seems to be a pretty high quality glue. If you're going to be running the KC media, they're a lot bigger than that roll right there looks, and they're heavy. You may need to find some sort of support for the outside here. This machine we didn't make with one, but you may have to put something underneath there. I don't know how big a rolls they're going to be or how heavy they are. So if you see a lot of droop in that shaft, after you put it on there, you may need to do something. When you receive the machine, this will be unwired. The rewinder itself will be unwired from the machine. You can see the red goes to white, black to black for the wire connection. If you get it wrong, it's not going to hurt anything. It'll just run backwards. So you'll have to wire that up when you get it. We'll pull that cord off of there. You want it to roll so it's coming over the top. So it'll be rolling counterclockwise. We'll also have these feet off of here, disconnected from the machine. You just have to put it back on there and square that shaft up to the pinch rollers or the pinch roller uprights. I measure from this point down to the shaft, and I do it on both edges just to get them so that they're the same. That way it'll rewind square.